Okay, so let's look at the causes of economic growth. So, economic growth, if you look at a definition, is it's the percentage increase in the real GDP of an economy, which is fine, but there's a big difference between what that definition suggests and what economists generally understand by economic growth. What this definition is really getting at is the idea of actual growth. Actual growth is simply the actual increase in GDP. It's how much more stuff is made this year than was made last year. And by stuff, we mean goods and services and all those kind of good things. Essentially, it's based on aggregate demand. So the way you would show actual growth if you wanted to is you kind of go, well, look, suppose there is an increase in aggregate demand, we get a multiplier effect, and real GDP rises from Y1 to Y2 in the usual way. Or you could show it within a production possibility frontier as kind of a movement from A to B. That's actual growth as well. Or for those of you familiar with the world famous beer and glass model, then actual growth is the increase in the level of beer in the economy. So in other words, we're making all of those things basically are just showing that we're making better use of our capacity. And since aggregate demand is consumption plus investment plus government spending plus exports minus imports, anything that increases consumption or investment or government spending or exports is likely to create actual growth. So consumer boom, cuts in interest rates, tax cuts, and all those sorts of things. So actual growth, by and large, is reasonably straightforward to create. Most recently, QE is a different attempt at attempting to bring about actual growth where other policy measures are struggling. But what economists are generally more interested in is potential growth. In other words, it's kind of whether or not we're using our existing capacity. Well, one day we will. It's pretty likely. What that capacity is something that's taxed economists for a long time in terms of saying, well, how do we create potential growth? How do we increase our economic capacity? Because it's those accumulations of potential growth over the years, that are going to lead to higher living standards. It's the reason that you and I are sitting here, looking at these things on laptops, rather than kind of carving things onto bits of wood or painting on cave walls. So when we look at potential growth, this is the one that really matters. At its heart, the trouble with potential growth is really easy to kind of say, well, what is it? It's an increase in the quantity or the quality or the efficiency of use of our key factors of production, of land, labour, and capital. So we get more factors of production. So immigration, invade France. All of those things would allow us to have a greater level of potential. Or we get better factors of production. We invest in new technology. So we could have more by investing in just more of the same technology. We invest in more hammers. We could have better quality investment by investing in hammering machines or something. Or training and so on. So factors of production, land, labour, capital and so on. Or we could simply try to drive up productivity. So we just do more with the same factors of production that we've got. If we can do that, then all of the going back to our models, the production possibility will shift out. The long run aggregate supply function will shift out. Or the glass will become bigger. So when you're explaining each of them, if you're explaining actual growth, you're focusing on aggregate demand, C plus I plus G plus X minus M. If you're focusing on potential growth, it's the quantity, quality, and efficiency of use of factors of production. And in terms of what drives those, we're back again at fiscal policy, monetary policy, and supply side policy. So if you go back to those and just have a think about how each of those would have an impact on actual and potential growth, then you'll be well set up.